everybody, my name is Tommy and today I'm going to tell you about a very amazing topic which you might not see clearly here. This is the letter T, the letter I. Can you guess it right now? If you said tides, then that's correct. Today we're going to learn about tides. Okay, so now you've got your basic idea and all. So today, first, I'm going to talk about what causes tides. What basically causes tides? Causes all tides. Tides is in the earth here, is in the middle of the moon and the sun. As you can see, I have a few models of it. A guy holding up the earth with his legs, and another guy holding the moon, and another guy holding the sun. This is kind of like hanging the sun, the moon, and the earth on the curved section of these arrows. And then I have the point of the D is loaded up with the earth, and two guys who are hanging on to the D. One guy with the head of the moon, one guy with the head of the sun, and finally a guy with the head of the earth, and he's levitating the moon and the sun between them. So now we're going to talk about the simple tides. We have the spring tides, which occur on the two high points of the earth. Then we have the neap tides that occur in the two middles of the earth. Then we have the high tides, which occur on these two vertices. And finally, we have low tides, which occur on these vertices. Now, let's continue with what moon phase does it need to have each one. And we're also going to talk about two more very interesting tides. That's tide K1 and tide K4. First is two low tides. There will be the waning crescent and the waxing crescent. That is when the low tide happens during the start of the year and during the end of the year. Next, the high tide. The high tide will occur on the waning gibbous and the waxing gibbous. So the waxing gibbous is on almost at the start of the year, and the waning gibbous will start almost at the end of the year. And now we have spring tides. Spring tide. So the spring tide will occur about 2 out of 5 of the whole year. So spring tides will occur in 2 out of 5 and 4 out of 5. The spring tide will occur in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. Now, let's go on K4 and K1. Tide K4 occurs when there is a full moon, a moon that is fully lit. And tide K4 occurs on a new moon. That's when the moon is not always lit up. Okay, so now this is a high tide. This is the ground, and this is the high tide. A low tide is not like this, but the low tide is right here. A neap tide is like this. So we're going to add an ocean and bed, and then the neap tide will be like this. This is the water. This is the water, see? So the neap tide is when the ocean level really drops down. Let's move on to the spring tides. Let me draw a seabed again. The spring tides is when the water is like this. Roar. Like it floods out of the river wall and onto mainland. That's the scariest tide, which we haven't always experienced since 2017. So it's pretty unbelievable that there's such a tide. Okay, so now let's continue with the effects of the K4 tide. The K4 tide, so this is the riverbed when we draw down to the Mariana Trench. The K4 tide is a tide where there is almost absolutely no water at all, hasn't been seen since the year 2000, and it's at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. There's just a little drop of water, and there's no water else on the whole world. Never been seen since 2000. Let's move on with the K1 tide. I'm going to erase the K4 tide. The K1 tide is when the water is like this. So this is the street, see? This is the street. And the K1 tide, let me draw up here, the water will go like this. It will like flood out. It's not just a huge wave like the springtime, but it floods out. It goes particularly out and floods the street. And also it hasn't been seen since 2017. Pretty unbelievable, just like the spring tide and the K1 tide. The K1 tide is probably the oldest, almost never seen before. So let me write down below again. So those are the most interesting types of tides that you have learned about today. So that's the end, and bye-bye.